Hey guys, and welcome to another Minecraft video. I know that I've been doing a lot of videos on this lately, but I'm gonna clean up my channel a little bit, and yeah, I wanted to have like a comprehensive, shall we say, video where I wasn't just babbling on because I was so freaking tired that I couldn't concentrate. Anyway, I showed off this invention. You may or may not have seen that video. And all this is basically, it's a loop with a loop counter, basically, and it uses scoreboard variables, or sorry, scoreboard scores to detect if it's done. So the way it works is, this is just a clock. It could be any clock. Excuse me. And this runs into the command block and into a comparator. So the way that the comparator works is the command block behind it, if the test for is true, then it will output a full 15, the command block will. And this is the B input, and it's inputting into the comparator a value which is slightly less than 15, possibly 13 or 14, or I don't know. Well, probably less than even that. I guess it goes down by 1 every step, so yeah, so I guess that's 6. Regardless, the way that this works is if the B input is stronger than the A input, or if there is nothing, then it'll output nothing. However, if the A input is stronger than the B input, it'll output the difference between them in front of it. If I recall correctly. So the idea is, when this is active, there is a difference between these two wire strengths. It outputs something in front of it, and then checks again. And basically this just causes the entire thing to pulse with the same speed as the clock. These repeaters are just here to give this wire signal more strength. This repeater is unnecessary. I don't know why it's there. It's probably a mistake. So yeah, if I set my has pot to 10, this will look for a player who has a potion. Then as you can see, this gets pulsed. It goes all the way up here, and then it starts removing 1 from has pot until the loop is finished. And then it won't run, because this will not be outputting a value. So, yeah, so that's fine. The reason it goes down to -1 is because I also have this loop running down here as part of the main loop for the for implementation into the actual UHC game box that SethBling's invented. So just to run over the entire circuit real quick, over here we have just Seth's original stuff. Anything he's done is marked with sandstone. Anything I've done is marked with wood planks. Then I borrowed his clock design because it was more stable, so when you import it from a schematic, apparently it doesn't break, which is fantastic. Other clocks can, like the one I was using up there apparently. So all this is, put really simply, is basically the circuit you saw up there, and this is a clock that I added in the previous video where I was really groggy. So anyway, the way that this works is you have a clock, same exact thing, comparator. This is your B input, that's your A input. Now the only difference is this has a comparator coming off here. So the way that this works is what this will do is it'll check to see if the player has a potion. Then it'll go up here and it'll score that player by figuring out if they have the pot test variable. So then it'll decrease their has pot number by 1. It will apply potion effect 6, which heals them for 2 hearts, and then it'll increase their max health by 1 heart. So what that'll do is even though it increases their total health in reality by 2 hearts, they'll just lose the extra 1 heart if you know, if they're not already at max health. So this clock right here pulses to remove the pot test variable, but it doesn't do that if this is running, because this guy here outputs a constant value of 1. So if I give myself 15 potions, this line activates, and it's constant, and by running into the B input of this comparator, B input is stronger than the A input, so it outputs nothing. Because I believe this only has a output strength of 1, because there's only 1 item in there. So, yeah, basically, this will shut off the clock. And because it's so stable, it just starts up again and starts pulsing this when it's done. So let's just see that again. Yeah, this turns off, then it starts going over here. Now there's only one more thing. To make sure that 2 players don't have the same value, the same pot test value, so that we're not like screwing that up. I mean, they still have to have a potion, but anyway, just to make sure that that's the case, what I've done is, if a player, so the SethBling has it set up a little differently. He's got his set up over here to set a random player apple test first. What I do is check to see if there's a player who already is in pot test. Then I run a wire up here, and if there is, it'll run a wire up here and stop this clock, because this B input will be greater than 1 constantly. So as you can see, it's pulsing here because my value is randomly getting set to pot test, and that's turning off the clock and stopping this from setting a player to pot test. See, this will pulse, then it'll select me and stop. And the idea is that if I do, if I give myself a potion, if I give myself 15 potions, see, this turns off the random pot test 1 assigner until my count is over. See? So until my has pot count goes down to 0. Just to go over this circuit real quick, it's exactly the same as what Seth implemented. All the interesting stuff is what we just went over, but this is basically exactly the same as what Seth implemented. All I have is redstone coming out here, so if this test is, if this test is irrelevant, what it'll do is it'll try to clear the health potions from someone's inventory. I guess that's kind of dangerous. Okay, so the way this works, I was a little bit worried just then, because I was like, oh crap, what if this? But then I was like, no, it won't. It can't interfere. But anyway, okay, sorry. So yeah, so what this will do is it'll check for a player in pot test who has any of these potions, and if it removes it successfully from their inventory, it'll output a signal in front of it. That alerts the player that their potion has been taken, and then it assigns them a pot test value between 1 and 3, which will give them back between 1 and 3 hearts, as we've demonstrated. So the only thing left to do is just to show you this works. Up. Okay, so 1.5 hearts, that looks like. Yeah. So I'm just going to give myself a potion here. 3731 8197, I think. Yeah, potion achieved. So that should have raised up my max health. If I give it to myself again. Yeah. Okay, so there we go. So what happened there is that my max health, actually, why don't I track my max health for you? So, scoreboard, objectives, set display, sidebar, max health. So, as you can see, it's 20 right now. Jump. Okay, now it's down to 16. That means I'm at minus 2 hearts. So if I give myself this potion, just wait for it. Whoa, why didn't it? Oh, there it is. That's, I guess it's a little bit laggy, which is not great, because you want this to be as quick as possible. Anyway, yeah, as you can see, my max health went up by 2. If I give myself the second potion, my max health goes up again and it heals me. So yeah, this just implements healing potions into UHC. I said I was going to try and add a circuit to detect hunger, based on if the player was healing quickly, but I'm afraid that that'll instantly affect the potions, because, or like the golden apples, so I might not do that. But yeah, anyway, yeah, so the only other thing that I need to show you is just that stronger potions work. So let's get a restore 3. That is 8257. Oh no. Okay. Jump. So my health is at 17. That's 1.5. So that should update. And my max health goes up to 23. But it should go back down. It'll go back down based on my health, so it doesn't matter if it's at 23, because if I jump, well, because if I jump again, yeah, see, it instantly goes back down to 17, because it's set based on what your health is, not on what your max health is. Your max health doesn't matter, other than to limit how much health recovery you can have. So if it's above 20, it doesn't matter. So yeah, that's my little add-on for SethBling's UHC box. It's a little bit more complex, perhaps even a little bit laggy, now that I've added in like all these checks. But I really like the logic. Like all this was done by trial and error, more or less. But it was a lot, and I mean a lot of fun to do. I mean, when I say all of it was done by trial and error, I mean like all these circuits and stuff were done by trial and error, figuring out like the loop, the condition loop, like that was done by trial and error. And the only things that weren't found by trial and error were already present in this machine. So like this little circuit right here, and that clock down there. I just took those from this machine already. So yeah, anyway, this was a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoy. I might put a schematic up if Seth allows it. But I mean, of course, that's up to him, and I respect his decision no matter what. And yeah, until next time, thanks for watching.